Okay, this is a short video just showing you how to repair the strings which hold the Ranger pleated blinds in place. So the Ranger blinds have a fly screen component which has a black string running down in 4 locations, and the full sun blockout has fishing line string that runs down in 4 locations. The blind itself is in 2 parts. The inner part is removed by using a small flathead screwdriver to pop out the little rubber bungs, 16 of them around the blind, and behind those little rubber bungs are small 1 centimeter screws, and Phillips head screwdriver will remove those screws, and the inner component of the window, the outer component of the window, will remain in place because the manufacturer will have siliconed the outer part to your van, so it's effectively glued to the body. Once we've removed the inner component from your van, we'll move to the next step and show you how to do the repair. So this is the inner part of the window. It's been removed. All of the Phillips head screws have been removed, and we've taken it inside and popped it on the kitchen table with a little bit of protection for the table. You can see on this particular blind, the fishing line has broken. I've already repaired one earlier for the black string. So our next step is just to turn the blind over so we can access all its components from the underside. Now the repair process is the same for either the fishing line part or the black string part. And there's only a couple of tools you'll need. A Phillips head screwdriver, small pair of pliers to grip the string so that you can pull it tight, some leader fishing line, in this instance it's just a bit from Big W. You can buy, this is called Venetian blind cord, small 1.5 millimeter. The smaller you can get, the better. Make sure it's not cotton based, that it's proper polyester type cord. And a little dab of PVA glue, and that just stops the blind cord from slipping where it's fastened. And I'll show you that in a minute. So for this blind, we're going to be repairing the fishing line and showing you how it's actually fitted to the window itself. You will see that in this corner here, 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 mounting points, and they're exactly the same up on the insect fly screen one that uses the string. Now, using a darning needle, one feeds up here and up here. These two run along a track inside this extruded aluminium and are fastened up here. There are 2 screws up here for double fastening. Wrap around one, wrap around the other. On this end, the string that runs up here and here, they go up and run the opposite direction. And they have their 2 screws here and here. You can see the broken line here. We're going to repair that. Now the first step will be to remove these little aluminium guide tracks on each side. 4 Phillips head screws. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do both of them. Okay, so we've removed the 4 Phillips head screws holding the aluminium extruded track. And now this can simply be lifted out. A little bit of wiggling and up it comes. Easy as that. And we're going to do the same on the other side. You can see here how the string is tied, and at the other end how the fishing line is tied. And you can see the string coming out of the end here and simply running up, and the fishing line comes out of here and runs up. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our darning needle and our needle threader and our leader fishing line, and we're going to thread up our needle, right? And we're going to run our replacement line. Before we can thread the new line up the blind, we need to take this track off. And in order to do that, at the end of the track is the little plastic piece that slides up and down those extruded aluminium tracks. There's a tiny little Phillips head screw in there. We undo that and that end cap will come off. This is the small piece that we removed from the end of the track. You can see the small Phillips head screw in there. So in this instance, because the two center ones were broken, one of them will run that direction and one of them runs this direction, I needed to remove both caps. And the track now just slides off. Okay, so now we can see how the fishing line runs up here, out to the top, and here it is broken. Or not broken. That one's the broken one. That one's not broken. This one's broken. And this one is not broken. I need to remove the broken part, so I undo this screw first. You can see here, it's just a loop on the end of the fishing line to hold it to the screw. So I've pulled a little small piece of broken line out. Now I'm going to thread the new piece through. So now we commence threading the fishing line through the hole, down through all those holes, and out the bottom, where I'll tie it off on the screw. Now, if your needle is too large, like mine is, I can't pass it right through it and get it up this way. These little clips here and here, there's 4 of them. They can be removed very easy with a slotted screwdriver. Okay, with the clip removed, I can now move the blind further away from its frame so I can get my needle through. Okay, so I've worked my needle through the holes gently. We pull out enough at this end so I can tie a loop to put around the screw. So a simple half hitch and an additional half hitch on top of it so that it locks and doesn't slip is all that we need. Don't trim off all the excess, leave that there. We're going to hide that in behind the frame, and if we ever need to retension these strings, we can have something to grip onto. So there, we've threaded the string through. All right, haven't cut it off yet. Left all the excess here and have put the clip back on to hold that in place. Now I'm going to do the other broken one. Before I can commence the other broken one, I'm going to need to cut this line to a sufficient length. Starting with this right down here, I need to run along and up, and I'm going to leave probably another good 200 to 300 millimeters off the end for working. So having threaded the 2 new strings through, we now slide the piece of extruded aluminium, making sure that the pieces of string are coming out through the track in the middle there. Slide it along, making sure the other ones, so 2 from this side go that way, 2 from this side go that way. Having threaded the track in, put the end cap on, making sure the 2 pieces of fishing line are fed in the right place, and do the same to the other end. Okay, with the end caps on, we're going to route the fishing line up here and around one and around the other, just double loop and tension it nice and tight, both sides. So once you tension this nice and tight, go up 1 loop around that one and then 2 loops around this one. leaving the excess. Tighten screws up nice and tight. Once we've got that done up nice and tight, we're going to trim this very long piece here, and with the two of them, do a simple double half hitch here. Okay, now before we put these tracks on each side, we're giving you a little bit of a clean. You can see all the corrosion on the surface of the aluminium. A little bit of a clean with some steel wool. Right, and then a non-silicon based lubricant, something that'll dry on there, so PTFE type lubricant. Little light spray with a piece of tissue. So we can see the difference once we've done a little wipe with steel wool. Take all the muck and corrosion off the aluminium. Everything will slide much better. Okay, so while the end caps have a left and a right, these little aluminium tracks don't. It's just a case of carefully slotting it in, top and bottom, negotiating around the strings and putting the 4 Phillips head screws back in to secure it. Each side. Okay, so we've got the end caps on. We've got the tracks on. We've fastened our strings at the end, whether they be the fishing line ones or the black string, which is Venetian blind string, 1mm. All right, same on this side. Our 4 Phillips head screws are fixed on. Everything's now ready to go. All we've got to do now is mount it back into the van. Quick test. Slides up and down nice and easy. Job done. Total time from go to woe will be less than 1 hour per window. Lubricant, cord available at Bunnings. The cord's only a couple of dollars a roll. Huge amount, hundreds of meters. Fishing line, any good camping or fishing store. I got mine from Big W.